welcome back to Cycle Sync with G. Today is day 4, which is a rest day if you're doing the 28-day Cycle Sync Sculpt series, which is a 28-day schedule of sculpting workouts. Today being a rest day, there's a few rest days in there when they are appropriate. The point of the 28 days is every day that you do a workout is synced to match the hormones of that day. So I've inserted a rest day here because this is still part of the menstrual phase where you might feel a little bit low energy anyways, so I've taken this opportunity to go out for a nice walk, and I wanted to talk about 8 things that I have learned about cycle syncing. I obviously haven't cycle synced forever. I actually only got my period back, or I lost my period for quite a long time, and made all the effort basically that I could and did whatever I could to get it back. And the way that I did that was basically, I'm a bit of a science nerd. So I read up on the 4 different phases. I have a degree in human biology, so I kind of understood female science and physiology. But I basically looked up and researched the intricate details of each phase, and then I sort of instigated or initiated the phases in my own body. Like, I started showing up and living like I was on each phase. I did time it with some sort of subtle cues that I had, but that is basically how I got my cycle back. So to an extent that is kind of already cycle syncing without a cycle, but since I have obviously had my cycle and been cycle syncing, honestly, like, pretty life-changing stuff. And anyone that you kind of hear about that's doing it or has done it, kind of only really hear good things. There are some people making clickbait things saying, you know, why it's overrated and why you should just do the same things every day. Anyway, that's not my belief, because I do believe that women have totally different physiologies to men. But when it comes to cycle syncing itself, I'll just give an overview for anyone that's not familiar with what cycle syncing is. Essentially, you have a period every month if you're naturally cycling on no birth control or anything. So you have a period once a month, right? It's not just the period. Your menstrual cycle is an entire 28-day process, which enables you to have a period at the end or the beginning of the cycle. It depends which way you look at it. But the entire 28-day cycle can basically be broken up into 4 main phases. And there's certain like kind of characteristics of each phase because the hormones change, and I mean, every day is different because there's different levels of hormones every day. And basically cycle syncing is syncing what you do, what you eat, how you work, how you train, everything with the hormonal fluctuations of the cycle, rather than just doing the same thing every day. So 8 things that I've personally, through actually cycle syncing myself, have learned. The first one is, once you understand the basics, everything makes so much sense. And I can't stress this one enough. And maybe I'm a little bit privileged because I do understand, I did that biology degree, so I have the basic foundations of how the body works and things like that. But seriously, if you understand the fluctuations and what those fluctuations actually mean from a scientific point of view, so even just learning that in the luteal phase, your body is building upper tissue and maintaining that lining in case it was pregnant. Like, it has to thicken about 3 centimeters, 2 to 3 centimeters in thickness every single month. And that's then what gets shed out as a period. Like, once you kind of know this stuff and understand this stuff, it makes so much sense why you're more tired or why you're more hungry. Just understanding and having the awareness of what is happening just really helps, yeah, and everything just, it does make sense. Anyway, the second thing that I've learned about cycle syncing is that it's a rhythm, not a routine. So routines are rigid, they're the exact same every time, they're a bit more controlled, it's a bit more, yeah, rigid is kind of the best way to describe a routine. Monotonous. A rhythm means it flows, it's the same, but it's different. It can be different. It's a bit more flexible, but basically it leaves a bit of room for creativity and for other things to go on. It's not the exact same. It is rhythmical. It just happens, you know, with whatever else is going on around it, as and when. The third thing I've learned about cycle syncing, and I think this is probably the most fun one, is that it feels so natural and so right. Like, that's all I kind of got to say about that, really. Like, I'm quite sensitive to how things feel in my body. This, like living by this, like the crazy energy that I feel, and I don't feel drained anymore. I used to have super dark circles under my eyes from just pushing and just doing too much. And yeah, it just feels, all I can say is that like a lot of things have righted themselves that were potentially a little bit unbalanced. Like I used to struggle with my gut and things like that, but living kind of cyclically, and it's just not pushing really against the body and against things that are naturally happening. Everything else just did right itself. The fourth thing I've learned about cycle syncing is, so for me, I love to have a structure, and I think also in society today how that we do have this diet culture, or kind of need to be told or need to know like what the best way to do something is, or it's kind of the way that we've been conditioned, because there's all this like what you should do, what you shouldn't do, what you should eat, what is bad for you, and all of this. That I personally like, I quite like that. I quite like to live by certain guidelines, and this is another story, but like my self-awareness and things kind of had a blip, and so I didn't really know what I wanted or what I needed. I'm a lot more self-aware now, but I think in a time, 2 or 3, 4 years ago, when I didn't really know what I wanted and needed, following, I don't know, a diet or a plan or something was really helpful for me. So cycle syncing is, I guess, like that, but then with something like, I don't know, carnivore, you find, or you go out for dinners and there's something missing basically. And yeah, I just have found that with cycle syncing, it's so like easy, I guess, but it's a structure that I can follow now that I've like learned the basics, which I said in my first point, that I know, okay, those types of foods are good then, or I know, okay, snacks and whatever is going to be more important in my luteal phase. Like, it's a kind of structure, like you learn what foods are paleo and not paleo, you know what I mean? It's the same kind of thing, but it also comes from you. It's not like a list that you've seen online or what someone else did. It's so like natural, and like basically you write the script. Like it's what makes you feel crap on your period. So then you're like, okay, I don't do that when I'm on my period, and then I don't feel crap. And that is your cycle syncing. Like it's so individual to you, and it's not like you're ever pushing or restricting or working towards a deadline, or it's a structure, but it's not like an intrusive, difficult structure, if that makes sense. And sometimes, yeah, there is that tendency. Like I am an outdoorsy, active, I love to just like be playing sport or going in the gym or something. And I like to kind of know, okay, I'm in my luteal phase, so it's probably not a good idea that I push it too hard, because I will feel like hella drained later. So that's the kind of structure that I'm talking about. It's not like someone's telling me what to do, but it's like self-knowledge that I now know that if I do XYZ, then I'm going to feel XYZ. The fifth thing I've learned about cycle syncing is that, to build on the last point, I guess, like once you know these things and know like how you feel in certain phases, you can optimize it. So, okay, I know that I tend to really feel like planning things and like visualizing, vision boarding, and like I'm very full of like, okay, I'm going to do this, and I have all these great ideas and all of that. Like I know that comes in my follicular phase. None of that happens in my luteal phase. But I know in my luteal phase, I love to like get into, I'm currently writing a sort of book, so something creative. Like I love getting into creative something and just like losing my mind, not losing my mind, but like, you know, being mindless or doing some mindfulness, whatever, you know what I mean? Like when you're just in that beautiful there, but just in this deep thought. So I don't try and force myself to do that in my follicular phase, but then I also don't force myself to go in like set tasks or whatever. And you can do exactly this as well. Whatever career or job or sport or anything that you're in, is that you know when your best times for a certain activity, certain type of activity. Like you know, it's a great day for me to, there's just a bug on there. like you know you are the most like fluid talking, let's say, in your follicular phase. How you can optimize that is, if you can, plan your meetings in that time of your cycle, or networking, or film your videos in this time, or make sure that you kind of get those conversations going that are potentially more difficult when you don't have as fluid of like language and you're able to speak as fluidly, you know, a hard conversation that you want to have with someone or anything. But basically what I'm saying is that when you know like when your best times for something are, you can kind of schedule for it. So I'm not working on my book right now, but come my luteal phase, when I have that deep thought and whatever, then that's the time I know I'm going to knuckle down and optimize my luteal phase, if that makes sense. So despite everything that I've said about knowing and understanding and, you know, optimizing each phase and everything, prepare to sometimes not always be right. Like, as I said, it's a rhythm, not a routine. There will be days like you wake up in your follicular phase where you tend to have loads of energy and you feel like, oh my God, I feel dead today, I feel really sleepy, I feel really tired. What's wrong with me? I always have high energy around now. Like, environmental things happen, right? Life happens. Like, you might have slept really badly, the air pollution might have been really bad yesterday and you got sick. Like, you could have had an argument, you could have something stressful happen during that day. All of this will affect how you feel. Like, that's just life, right? We aren't bulletproof to life. So basically, it ties into that, the fact that it's a rhythm, not a routine. Yes, you understand the basics. Yes, you understand, you know, how you feel in certain phases and what should be happening. Prepare to be surprised sometimes, basically. And also to let that, you know, not get affected by that in a way that you get disheartened or you think you've got it all wrong or anything like that. Like, it's life. Things happen as well outside of your cycle. So just, be fluid with it. The seventh thing, self-empowerment. I think having knowledge, understanding, knowing what your body wants and craves gives me a feeling of confidence in myself. So self-confidence, reassurance as well. And self-empowerment, that basically this structure that I've been talking about as well, it comes from you. And that's pretty empowering to think about, because for someone who I personally definitely did, I went through a phase of, not knowing what I wanted, not knowing what I needed, what my body was craving. So now knowing and being entirely, led by myself and my own cravings. Like, I find myself craving like the weirdest stuff, and then it happens like the next month as well, and I'm like, oh, okay, there must be something that my body's doing right now that it needs more of this nutrient, for example. So it's empowering to listen to that as well, and also know that your body's trying to tell you something. It's saying, hey, I need more iron, or I need more protein, or please rest today. Or even if you can't action those things, it's empowering to know that your body is like having this kind of dialect and internal conversation with you, and you understand it. I think there's nothing more empowering than understanding your own body, letting your body actually speak. And for someone who also has, had an eating disorder, I restricted a lot. So to now, like, kind of hear my body, or through a craving, like to go and do something or to eat something specific, and own it and do it, it feels phenomenal. And lastly, number 8, the 8th thing that I have learned about cycle syncing is that it's a cycle, and it comes around and around and around and around again. So basically, if you feel like you missed out on this high energy phase and you didn't end up, so say you've kind of been trying to complete a project by the end of your ovulatory phase, so that, because in your luteal phase you're going to feel a bit flat and it will take you a bit longer. If you then can't end up doing it in your luteal phase, don't give up, because that high energy phase is going to come back around again, if that makes sense. And that's a very kind of extreme or broad example, but things to that effect. Like, you're going to have this high energy phase again. If you start feeling low, like once kind of your hormones drop after ovulation, you start feeling a little bit more tired and low, like that high energy is going to come back again, and you know it, and it kind of feels okay. So as much as these like high energy, super productive times will come around again and give you another opportunity to smash your goal or to, you know, beat your PB, if you were aiming to do that, wanted to do that in your ovulatory phase, those times will come around again and you'll have another opportunity next month. In the same breath as that, the kind of maybe less favourable, because I'm pretty sure that we all have more favourable times of your cycle and less favourable times in the month. So just as much as those more favourable times come around and around, so do the less favourable. And I think something that I'm learning now, and is a great thing to actually learn, is learning when things are hard. If you don't learn how to deal with it, how to manage it, how to make yourself feel better, how it can be not so less desirable, it's gonna just keep coming around. But as soon as you learn how to manage it, so say you get really bad PMS and that always comes like 3 days before your period, let's say. Learning how to manage that, whether that's, I don't know, taking some ibuprofen or more magnesium, or journaling more, making sure you focus more on breath work and things in that last week before and the start of the last week before your period, like that is going to come around every cycle. So either learn how to manage it or learn how to kind of eradicate it and ensure that it doesn't happen all the time or not as badly. Because yeah, the good times of the cycle and the bad times of the cycle are both gonna come around and around every cycle. And I guess that's it. Those are 8 things that I'm currently learning about cycle syncing as a semi-new to cycle syncing cycle syncer. And I'd say the main takeaway point would be that it is a spiral, not a loop. So I'm saying it's a rhythm, it's a cycle, it goes round and around. Routine would mean that it goes round and around in a loop. A spiral enables that. If you let it, it's an upward spiral of self-empowerment, of self-confidence, self-understanding, awareness, potential to optimize, all of that, which with each cycle you can be, you know, elevating yourself and elevating yourself in an upwards spiral, basically. So as I said at the beginning of this video, today is my day 4. I'm on a walk today because it's a rest day from the 28-day Sculpt series, which I'm doing, which is a cycle syncing series of workouts, 28, one for each day of your cycle. So if you haven't or aren't doing those workouts, definitely give that a go. There are, or there will be, 28, so whichever day of your cycle that you're on right now, you can do the workout for that day. Obviously, you need to know which day of your cycle you're on, which most people will have a wearable or an Apple device or something which kind of tracks that now anyways. And if you are currently cycle syncing yourself, what would you add to my 8 things? Have you learned something different or something else about cycle syncing too? Are you enjoying it? Do you think it's overrated? Do you think it's difficult to keep up and maintain? Or is it just part of your life? And anyways, if you did enjoy this video, I'd love if you like it, comment on it, subscribe to this channel for more female biology, cycle syncing information, everything that you need to know about the menstrual cycle and how you can understand your own body and empower yourself. If you are doing the 28-day Sculpt series, I'll see you tomorrow for day 5. If not, I'll see you next time.